Hello, this is Ruby from the Useful Journal. I am doing my setup for January. It's a bit of a special journal, this one. This is my Coco and Lynn journal that is 100% recycled paper. It's 150 GSM. If you missed my setup, I will give you a brief explanation of what I'm doing in this bullet journal this year for 2025. I turned 50 this year, and so I am including photos from my whole life as part of my journal setup every month. And for the month of January, I will be doing the years 0 to 10. Now, I was born in the 1970s. I originally thought I would do a theme that was based around the fact that I grew up on a farm, and I just wasn't feeling the love for the theme. I'm using, look, I never use rulers, but these are very large letters, and I just want to get my edges as straight as possible. So I am using a ruler just to draw key bits of my letters. I've found that my hand's a little bit shaky, and it's just one of those things that you'll try for ages to work out what theme you want to do, and you'll muddle and muddle over it, and then suddenly it just hits you. And so it finally hit me that a good theme would actually be the style of each decade. Well, particularly for the 70s and 80s. Not so much for the after that, but we'll see what I do. I've decided that I will get the outlines done and then erase the pencil before I colour in. Most of the time, the pencil will erase even though you've drawn over it with Tombows, but sometimes not entirely, so just in case. So, I am doing a 70s inspired theme, which I've never done before, which is kind of fun. And I've come up with this lettering myself. I've got 5 key colours that I'm using. The lettering is just basically, I was inspired by this photo on Pinterest, and I loved the colour combination. It often comes up when you're looking at 70s stuff, so that's the colour combination I've gone with, and I liked how the numbers went right to the edge of the page. So I've just kind of worked from that. So I've designed my own lettering, but building on that idea that I got from that picture on Pinterest. So fairly simple, this theme. It's literally 5 colours and not a lot of design involved. I just draw some flowers. I am just happy to do that much. I've never really come up with my own lettering. I've sometimes had to come up with my own numbering because fonts I get off Pinterest are often just the letters, not the numbers. It's nothing super fancy, it's just a outline letter basically with it's got all curved corners on any curved edge, and it's very much focused on not having posts and things like that. And yeah, it's very focused on curves, and I've got this extended line that goes to the edge of the page, and I have done that at an angle sometimes, so I haven't necessarily kept it straight up and down. Right, I am putting photos on this page. This is a photo. You see that? I'll put it closer. That is my grandmother and grandfather, and my mum and her 2 brothers. And that is a very long time ago. That would be the 1950s, looking at the age of mum. And then this is the house I grew up in to start with until I was about, I think we moved into the, so I started 2 years in Canberra, which is Australia's capital city, and that was not this house. And then we moved to a farm when I was 2. And so this photo is the farm I moved to when I was 2 years old. And it had a really run-down old weatherboard cottage on it. And we lived in that for 7 years before we moved into the house we built on the property. And this is just a photo of me when I was a baby. The paper's not showing through at all, so I can afford to colour more than once. So when you colour with Tombows, if you're only doing one layer, you will get those lines, kind of a stripy finish. If I was to do multiple layers, as I've said before, I printed these photos just on a laser printer on my sticker paper. Okay, you don't need to see me colouring in multiple pages, so I'm just going to show you the photo bit. So this one is on the farm I grew up on. So the one from age 2, which was about 30 acres, and we grew, we had an orchard basically. We had a few cows, a few chooks. Don't have a lot of pictures of that stuff, I've got some. And this photo is a picnic on the farm with my dad, my mum, my brother and my sister, and my grandmother, who must have been visiting. That's Mum's mum. And Dad was Dad's passed away now. Dad was very outdoorsy. He liked bushwalking and cross-country skiing, like Nordic skiing, and always took us outdoors. You'll see more photos of those. And it's from him that I developed my love of the outdoors. And yeah, so that's what that one is, just a picnic on the farm. He obviously decided, it actually looks pretty cool, like bushland. Now this one, my grandfather took this photo, and he was really into photography. He had his own little photo developing lab, and he won a prize, a photography prize with that photo. It is of me with my little brother when he was a baby. Now finally we just have a photo of me with, now this is at my grandfather's house, my mum's father. Just haven't trimmed the edge properly there. And I am at their house in Cootamundra, which is a country town in New South Wales, Australia, and I am with his dog, Jumper. Jumper was a working sheepdog. She was an awesome dog, so yeah, very cute little photo. I was a bit of a blondie, like my brother. Not as blonde as my brother when he was a baby, but a little bit of a blondie. And yeah, I love that photo with Jumper. Love that dog. Okay, so a few photos here. This photo actually had me in the bath with my sister, but this journal isn't about my sister, and she doesn't need to be exposed naked on the internet, even if it was a very long time ago. So it's just me in the bath with my big blue eyes and rosy cheeks and an awesome bubble. This photo is of me and my brother in the back room at my grandmother's house, and it was, look at that safe, how awesome is that? So they were farmers and they moved into town when they got older, and this was their house in town. And this was like the back room. It was like a closed-in veranda thing on the back of their house, and we loved it. We'd put mattresses all across the floor, and the 3 kids would all sleep on the floor, and it was so cool. And I loved going there. It was so much fun. I wish I had a photo, but there was a bathroom next to this that had a little window, a tiny little window in the wall, and it was an internal bathroom with a hallway around it, and you could climb through the window because there was a big freezer on the other side. So we would run circles, like the window is here. We would climb through the window, climb down the freezer, run around, go back in the door, climb. It was so much fun. So much fun. The little things. We used to get in a lot of trouble for it, but hey, I think the best things are always the ones that you get in trouble for. And this is my dad milking one of our cows. That is Patience, who was a Guernsey cow. And we always had cows when I was growing up. We always had a few dairy cows, and we milked them, and we had calves, and it was often our job as kids to feed them. Okay, 2 photos for this page on my Liquid and Task tracker, and the 2 stickers are of the 3 of us kids plus my foster brother. So we briefly for 2 years had a foster brother here. So this is my sister and my brother, and that's me, and it's a foster brother. And he only stayed with us for a couple of years because he basically needed to go to a special school. He was developmentally delayed, and so we didn't have a school near us, and so he had to go live at the school. So that you'll see in these younger ones, you'll see him, but he didn't stay around. And this is me. I think this is at my grandmother's house in Ulladulla. A very pretty little dress and a blankie. I am going to put the rest of the photos in place on my daily spreads. So this is just a school photo of me. I think I was in like 2nd grade or 3rd grade. Maybe, no, 1st or 2nd grade. I'm pretty young there. I can't remember what year it was. And then this is a picture of our farm. So you've already seen the picture of us having a picnic on our farm. That would have been just here above this dam. We used to swim in this dam when I was little. And that's pretty much what my dailies are going to look like. I don't want to take too much space doing other stuff because I'll be having writing in there. Okay, so let's just quickly go through the remaining photos and I'll stick them down. This is my sister and I. I have seen so many photos wearing that dress. It was yellow and fairly light, and it had cute little polka dots around the neck. I have always loved polka dots. It's a very cute picture. Not many photos of my sister in a dress, so that's pretty cool. And then, although she wouldn't think so, this is at my grandmother's house, my dad's mother, in Ulladulla, and we're standing at the front. She had the best garden. That house was right on the edge of a cliff overlooking the ocean. It was gorgeous. Beautiful spot. Now, next page, we've got 2 more photos. I'm spreading them around so that I don't get the journal doesn't get too bulky in one particular area. So if I were to put all my photos down the bottom here, then that would get really thick. This photo is of my sister, my brother and I at the Dog in the Tucker Box. The Dog in the Tucker Box, here's the dog, is in Gundagai in New South Wales, and it's famous because the dog was said, his boss went off, I think he got injured and died or something. His dog waited on the Tucker Box, patiently waiting for his boss to come back, and he never did. It's a very sad story, and it's just basically a statue honouring the loyalty of dogs. This one is my sister and I in the stocks at Old Sydney Town with colonial history of Sydney. It's just a fun little photo with my sister and I. This is one of my all-time favourite pictures of my sister, my brother, my foster brother, and me. We used to go to Parramatta Lake to swim with my dad's father, my grandfather, and yeah, we used to have picnics there. It's all really fancy and polished and developed now, but back in those days it was pretty rough. We used to often have Christmas lunch there. This is me in a ballet costume. How adorable is that? And I hardly needed the extra paint on my cheeks because I had such rosy cheeks anyway, but I just love that picture. I did ballet, but I eventually had to stop because my parents said that I didn't practice enough. That was it. They weren't prepared to pay for lessons if I wasn't going to practice, and it's probably fair because, to be honest, I'm not really the ballerina type. This is my family on our bicycles, and look, we did the basics back then. This would be probably early 80s. This is the only bike that has any tyres. The other ones just have the hard wheel, and we didn't have a lot of money, so these would have been bought from a charity shop or some other similar arrangement. Sometimes we picked them up from the tip and fixed them up, the rubbish tip. My sister was very creative, and at some point, I seem to remember her wanting spokey dokes, those things that clack on your wheels, and she wouldn't have got them because we had no money. So I imagine she then decorated it with streamers just to make her bike look cool. As I mentioned earlier, my father loved bushwalking, hiking. So he would often drag us kicking and screaming to go bushwalking, and for some reason here I'm wearing a skirt. I'm not sure why my sister and I are dressed like that to go where we are, but yeah, that would be, I don't even know where that is. It's just bushwalking somewhere. I don't even look dressed for it. I don't know what we're doing. Maybe we just popped out to look at a view somewhere on the way to somewhere. This one is walking in the Snowy Mountains, Australia's highest mountains. That is actually Mount Kosciuszko, which is our highest mountain. I do remember this trip. That was a 3-day walk, 2 nights camping. It's not terribly difficult, and I remember really enjoying the trip. I love the snowies. This one is cool. So my uncle is a paraplegic. He's been a paraplegic since he was about 7, and for a long time he's done a lot of cool stuff, but for a long time he lived on a commune in Nimbin, which is like hippie central, and on a commune as well. And he built this house, and it's a glass house. It's got all glass walls. I went and spent a month or something with him late in primary school, and I got to go to the local primary school in Nimbin, and we literally had 2 hours of classes a day, and then we would go down and play in the creek. And I just thought it was the best thing ever. This is some of our cows. I did mention our cows earlier, dairy cows. This looks like a cow called Beauty and Nikki. And it may have just been into the next 10-year period, I'm not sure, but we only had 30 acres. It was a very small farm. And we did a duet together. I think we even won a trophy for one of our performances. And so spent quite a lot of time with her, not just playing piano, but also doing fun stuff. Let's just go back. There's a few things, obviously, that I've still got to do, but that'll do for now. So we have my title page. You'll see that I've added a little bit of blue, a little bit of beige in there. But look, once you start filling it in, it looks so much better. Obviously, I've got some photos to go there. I hadn't printed off enough for this 10-year period, so I'm going to add a few more to stick down there. I'm still tracking time spent reading and time spent on screens. The exercise tracker has several things going on. If I do anything out of the ordinary, I'll put it in the middle. So in this 4-day period, I went swimming. If I kayak or cycle, I will colour in this box on the outside here. And then 100, 200, 300, 400 refers to my skipping. So I am still doing jump rope. I managed to do last month, I did 10 days, so a third of the month. I'm hoping to do more than that. And then of course my steps tracker. I am using a beautiful coloured ink this month in fitting with the 70s theme. Golden Honey by Diamine. It is a gorgeous old gold sort of colour and I really love it. Drinks, few tasks. Imagine that with full of text, and then look, it looks heaps better once you, like that looks really blank, but once you've got the text in there it looks really cool. So I am a bit happier about my layouts now and I feel like they're going to look okay. I hope you liked it. It's a bit different to what I would normally do, but this whole journal is a bit different to what I'd normally do. So there you go. That is my 2025 Bujo and January, my first month in that Bujo. I'll see you later. Bye.